Welcome to Third and Goal, a new segment here at Lit Sports Online where we talk about sports, primarily about football right now because, of course, it is football season. And you're probably wondering why Justin's sitting between us because usually I'm in the middle. But we are actually going to be talking about a pretty intense rivalry, probably the most violent, the most amazing, the most epic, and probably the most games on the line in a rivalry possible. The best rivalry in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens, the Steelers. Let's talk about it.
Is of course something that needs to be moderated by a neutral Rams fan. But before we get into that whole thing, there were some trades that went down recently around the deadline, and let's talk about those real quick. I mean, first of all, I got to bring up Dante Fowler going to the Rams for only a third and a fifth round pick. I mean, that's a steal.
Robert.
What a steal to get that off the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars might be in tanking mode now, kind of like the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's why they decided to get rid of him. I don't know, but impact player, nice edge rusher.
Robbery, high robbery, third and a fifth.
Third and a fifth,
not a second and a fourth.
No.
You probably could have gotten a first for him because he's a very talented individual. Just feeding the Rams a Super Bowl at this point. You're gonna give him probably a top 10 edge rusher, just say third down, go get the quarterback. Why? Why do we have to live in this NFL right now? Because I don't want to do it with all these damn pass rushers everywhere. Oh, I don't want to see the Rams at all. 16.
Don't worry, they're gonna fall off at the end anyways. We know how they do. They did it last year. They're probably gonna do it this year.
I don't know right now, bro. I don't know.
What other?
Let's talk about your guy, Ty Montgomery.
Yeah, let's talk about
Ty
it, man.
Montgomery for a seventh? Talk about another
That's
steal.
a robbery. Jeez, man. We actually have a possible solid running back. I mean, yes, you know the troubles he had with Green Bay. But, I mean, here we are. I mean, this is a second life here. You know, might turn it up for us. I think it's a slap in the face to Alex Collins, though, who's been our leading rusher the last few seasons. But, again, when you have a rushing game that really hasn't panned out the way Baltimore wants it to or the way Baltimore's really used to it, when you think about the running backs Baltimore's had, Ty Montgomery's a godsend to us. And I'm excited.
Probably more of a slap in the face to Buck Allen because I feel like he's the one getting replaced with all this.
That's true, and I wonder about his future. But again, Buck Allen's a third down back anyways, so I'm pretty sure you're going to see him a lot on goal line anyways.
Well, I think that's what Ty Montgomery's going to end up doing for you guys, a lot of that pass catching. But look, I mean, I think the reason the Packers gave him up so cheaply is just the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers going like, take a fucking knee. That's basically what he was quoted saying, take a fucking knee, instead of taking it out and fumbling. That cost him the game against my Rams. So,
yeah.
I mean, but Ty Montgomery's a good player. I think he's got, I think he was underutilized in Green Bay. He was actually, I would argue he was one of the better running backs in that backfield. I mean, all got their strengths and weaknesses, but yeah, they gave him away on the cheap.
I think Green Bay's good, though, in terms of running back. I mean, when you think about it, you have Jamal Williams back there. He's still young. Who's the other running back?
Yeah, Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Really good, yeah.
Again, so you got a 1-2 punch, and here you are moaning and groaning over here. What's on your mind? Talk about it. I want to hear it.
The whole Ravens backfield is trash.
Wait, we're not at that part yet. That's the next
Look at him
segment.
chomping
I
at the
just
bit.
wanted to put it out there. I don't give a damn who the running back is. Buck Allen is probably the best running back on your roster. To me.
Wait, guys, we're not in that segment yet.
I know we're not there yet, but I'm going to get back on topic. Ty Montgomery is a good ad. Was it highway robbery? Probably, because you do get a reliable receiving back. You also get a returner if he does listen, because I guarantee you, if Harbaugh tells his ass to stay in the end zone and he runs it out, he's going to be on the next ship out because the 7th-round pick
Harbaugh doesn't
ain't
play.
shit.
Harbaugh does not play.
We'll see how it pans out. I'm not going to gas it up like all these Baltimore fans are, but I would have traded the 7 for him if I was him.
All I'm saying is that you got a big name running back. I mean, he was Green Bay's running game until about last year.
Yeah, I give you credit.
So, I mean, when you think about it from that point of view, if the line can somehow get healthy, you got a serious running threat there. And not to mention, he's not just a running back. He was a receiver.
That's what I said.
And do you know, I mean, yes, we have 3 okay receivers right now. I mean, John Brown's definitely, in my mind, the number 1 receiver for the Ravens, no matter what the depth chart says. You got Willie Snead, and I wouldn't be surprised if Crabtree was out in like 2 years. That's just me. But you have Ty Montgomery who's going to add to that receiving game. And you know Joe loves to just dump the ball off the running back. How many times did we see that this Super Bowl season with Ray Rice?
We'll talk about that more later.
We don't have time.
Next trade is Demaryius Thomas going to the Houston Texans.
Which is phenomenal.
Awesome
Holy
trade.
crap.
Awesome trade.
You have 2 number 1 receivers. Whoa.
When has Deshaun Watson had a receiver outside of DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah.
Now he doesn't have to force the ball to Hopkins in triple coverage.
And you already trust Watson. You know he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So you giving him
4th round pick for
AFC South is locked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for right now, yeah. And honestly,
Wow.
think about if they end up extending Demaryius and then you get back Will Fuller next year when he comes back off the ACL, who's a prime speed deep threat. You have 3 legitimate receivers, the legitimate quarterback. Defense has always been phenomenal in Houston.
Yeah.
About 2 years from now, they're going to be a problem.
A serious problem. I wouldn't be surprised they're a problem next year.
They're a problem now, but it's just going to get.
Look, let me tell
better.
you something. The passing tree is the same no matter where you come. So let's be honest here. I don't think he's going to have a problem adjusting.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
Passing tree 1 through 9 is the same no matter what team you go.
That was robbery. And then the final trade, I do believe, is Golden Tate to the Eagles for a 3rd round pick.
Wow. Yeah.
Am I the only one that thinks they overpaid?
3rd round? Maybe.
I think that's about right.
We'll see how it pans out.
He's a good slot receiver.
Yes,
I can definitely see Carson Wentz doing some things with him.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
But he's also an older guy. I mean, he's not like a young guy, so he's getting
and
towards 30.
That's where the question probably comes. That 3rd round pick, you could easily pick up a decent receiver in the 3rd round for that.
And from what I've heard, even though we're not to the offseason yet, the receivers coming out in the draft this year aren't really that good. So maybe you do take a 3rd round flyer and hope he sticks around for 2 years. I think he's a good receiver.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have paid that price for him. I may have paid a 4th like they paid for Demaryius Thomas. He's going to line up in the slot. He's kind of like a tool bag guy. He can line up anywhere and give Carson Wentz another out because right now Carson Wentz has Alshon Jeffrey and who? Mike Wallace is hurt.
Mike Wallace.
Aguilar is unreliable.
Yeah. I got him on my bench.
Nah, that's why he's on your bench.
Yeah. There you go.
So I guess that does it for the trade updates.
Let's talk about what we came here to talk about.
Let's bring on the main event. Where are we starting with this, guys?
All right,
where do we start?
So Sunday. The game of the week in my mind.
Get it off your chest, bro.
Pittsburgh versus Baltimore in Baltimore. Now, right out the gates again, I said this in the last video. Ross invited me to the game. I'm so mad that I can't go because this would have probably been my first Pittsburgh Ravens game. But it can't happen. But, I'm going to go back a few weeks ago. Got off work one Sunday night, came home to my then fiance. We made tacos and we watched the Ravens beat the shit out of the Steelers. And then we got married the next week. What a great omen. It's wonderful. And this game will be nothing short of amazing. And there's a lot of implications going into it. Again, the Steelers have figured out the Le'Veon Bell situation. Le'Veon's probably going to be unemployed at the end of the year before some team takes him for way less money than he wants. The Ravens have fallen from grace getting beat by the Saints and Carolina. And last week just wasn't pretty at all. So, again, and you've known me to say this. When it comes to rivalry games, you throw out logic. Nothing else matters. Nothing really. I mean, you really can't say one thing or another when it comes, especially to this rivalry. Because so many things can go wrong, so many things can go right, and both teams play at their highest level, I think.
So it seems like Jared's bringing up the reverse fixture in which the Ravens won in Heinz Field. And, I mean, what's your response to that, Jimmy?
The Ravens are trash.
Ravens are trash. Are you serious?
TRASH, trash. Dumpster fire. Throw the team out. Cleveland, let Baker Mayfield moonwalk all over you. Cam Newton Supermaning in the end zone. The Saints game, even I said it was going to overtime. I'm not going to bring that up because Justin Tucker's still probably a Hall of Fame kicker. But let's talk about logistics here. Joe Flacco is shit. They won't bench him because Baltimore's so damn prideful. Oh, let's draft Lamar Jackson and keep watching the same Flacco shit show that we've been watching for the past 5 years. He got paid off of a Super Bowl run. What the hell has he done since then except take you to the playoffs? How many times? Once? Twice, maybe?
I think it was like three times.
And what happened? Didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, we went to the Super Bowl.
After that?
What have you guys done since we went to
I'm
the
gonna
Super
get to
Bowl?
that. I'm gonna get to that too. I'm gonna
What
get
happened,
to
what happened the last time we walked into your house? Walked into your house, bitch slapped the shit out of y'all.
Okay.
We beat y'all.
And do you remember last year when the broom came out? Do you want me to give you the one hand motion?
That was last year.
Remember
Look,
this?
hey.
Remember that? Remember that with 3 seconds ago?
Listen, we got a broom in our closet too.
Remember
They're
that?
probably coming out this week.
Remember that? We'll talk about the arm extent. Look, I'll put it to you like this. The Ravens have arguably a top 5 defense. I don't think they got exposed last week. I just think they got caught slipping and got caught riding the wave. We're not going to walk in the M&T Bank Stadium and beat them by 30. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. But we are going to walk in M&T Bank and beat that ass. Let me tell you something. James Conner ran the ball 6 times the last time we played y'all because our offensive coordinator got pass happy, which was wrong because you guys have a good pass defense.
Also a pretty decent run defense too.
You let Christian McCaffrey run all over you. It's probably not even the same echelon as James Conner. It didn't happen. Okay, let me finish. Antonio Brown is not statistically good at M&T Bank Stadium, but we do have a kid named Juju.
And what the hell have you done with him all year?
I think he has about 3 touchdowns and 600 yards. So how's that Michael Crabtree signing going for you? Was that about 3-year, $21 million deal? And he's probably worth three years in the pile of shit.
We can talk about that.
Okay, so we'll get to that in a minute too. I'm not done. Let me finish. Vance McDonald, aka the Vanimal, has been running over everybody. So you think you're gonna play a little? Oh, we're not gonna go over the middle. Go ahead and put linebacker safety on them. Get your ass embarrassed. Our offensive line hasn't allowed a sack in about 2 games. And we're opening up holes everywhere. James Conner is the AFC Offensive Player of the Month for October, for Christ's sake. So you think we're not going to feed him? He shitted on Le'Veon's stats from the last year at the same time. He has 9 touchdowns and 922 yards. So if you think we're not going to feed him and run down your throat, and by the way, let's talk about Joe Flacco's accuracy, because he missed on about 38 deep balls, and every time he gets a little deer in the headlights, he falls on his ass. So, you know, if you think we didn't forget about the last game when you came in and beat our ass, you got a little boy named TJ Watt. How's your offensive line doing? Bud Dupree got held the whole last game. Want to talk about the offensive line? Little Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt. You know, the worst person on the team is Artie Burns, and Joe Hayden's coming onto his own and locking down one side of the field. So let's talk about it. What defense do you have to say that Baltimore is going to beat Pittsburgh? I'm not saying beat their ass. I'm saying win. Because we can go. I had my
Jared, it looks like you've been enjoying your coffee. But what are your thoughts on what was just presented?
Thank you for the coffee, Alex. It was very wonderful. This cup of coffee was a great cup of coffee. And I've been listening to this jackass talk for the last 5 minutes. Still love you, bro. Anywho, Mike Thompson put the hat down. I don't want to see it in the corner of my eye. Let me tell you exactly how we're going to win. I'm going to tell you who it is. Probably one of the best defensive players ever to suit up. Terrell Suggs, who has no problem getting in Roethlisberger's face. And if we can add pressure to Roethlisberger, he ain't doing shit. And the Ravens, what they've been good outside of last game is getting to the quarterback. Let me tell you about 11 sacks to Marcus Mariota. We can at least get 3 or 4 on y'all. We probably aren't going to get 11. Probably not going to be a super duper pass rushing game like we had that week. But we can get him. We can get to him 4 times. And let's not forget just rushing the passer. Then you got to worry about Eric Weddle in the backfield, who's not bad. He's a decent safety.
Eric Weddle's old enough to be my damn grandfather. Like, come on,
bullshit.
What is he going to cover? He runs like a 4.8 on a good day. What's he going to do? Tap me with his fucking beard?
You also got to worry about C.J. Mosley.
That's probably the best player on your team. I give you credit there. To me.
Yeah, you're not going to do anything across the middle. Again, you have a defense. The Ravens defense, this isn't a star-studded defense, but they work well as a unit. And the thing they do good is getting to the quarterback. You know what he's done historically? And who was it? I think it's Ross in his basement has the most beautiful picture, is getting to Ben Roethlisberger. That's all we have to do. If they can focus on getting to Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Binks is not gonna. Juju Binks, wow.
See?
Talking fantasy football right now. Jesus, Juju Smith-Schuster is not doing anything.
We don't need Juju Smith-Schuster because we're the more complete team right now. How come you can't accept this? Accept
Again.
it. Live with it.
Do you really? I mean, let's be honest here. What defenses have y'all played that have really done anything?
You.
Yes, and what did we do to James
Okay,
Conner?
you won.
Who else?
Cleveland we tied with.
Cleveland, man. Cleveland sucks dick.
Cleveland we tied with. Oh, but y'all lost to them, but they suck dick, right?
I was about to say, you guys lost to Cleveland.
All right, continue.
You want to talk about that?
Continue.
So, the point is, we don't have to rely on the defense because our offense is so potent. We're putting up about 30 points a game right now in the past 4 weeks. We don't need to lean on our defense like you guys have to. Flacco's the 3-and-out king and the 5-yard dump-off king and the oh shit, there's a linebacker coming king. You know what the issue is with Baltimore? The issue with Baltimore is Joe Flacco is bipolar. You could honestly admit that he is bipolar.
I agree with that fact.
The second issue is your offensive line is so injured right now. Ronnie Stanley's not healthy. Alex Lewis, prayers that he comes back after his neck injury because that looked rough going off the field. Who else can you trust on the offensive line to do anything?
Yeah, I agree.
Jimmy Smith, he on his last tooth.
He's fraudulent.
Yeah, he's one suspension from his ass out there forever. And then Marlon Humphrey got a half a leg. So who gonna cover who? Who's gonna cover who?
But let me moderate this real quick.
Sure.
Jimmy, so the last game where the Steelers lost in their own stadium, you're attributing that just to the fact that the running back only got 6 carries.
Yes.
You think it had nothing to do with anything else?
No.
Because your passing game wasn't there.
Okay, so if your passing game isn't there, won't you turn around and hand it to the running back who's been averaging 4.7 yards a
exactly.
carry?
You guys can do shit against us. Pass or run.
I think it's going to be a different outcome this game.
You think. Nobody pays you to think.
Okay, there will be a different outcome this game. And
now you're a prophet.
No, I'm
now
not
you're a fortune teller.
Okay.
Okay.
I could just bury your team right now and call them trash, but they're not trash because in the AFC North, we're all running kind of close right now. But if you think for 1 second that you're just going to walk in M&T Bank, go ahead, put on your little all black. Oh, you know.
I mean, it is a loud stadium.
Very loud stadium.
Oh. That stupid ass song that you sing is going to blow some points out your ass. Then go ahead and say it. I'm putting it to you like this. If Ben gets hot, the running game gets going, just go home.
And if none of that happens, you can wipe your ass with that dirty ass little yellow towel. And
we're not going to disrespect the towel here, sir.
But how many of those towels?
It's a fucking towel.
Hold on a second. How many of those towels are we going to see in M&T Bank?
That's the greatest question.
How many fans are selling their tickets? That's what I want to know.
They're selling it. They want to see that shit. They want to see Flacco.
What are you
Flacco play pass interference ball. That's all he does. Pass interference ball, 5-yard check off. What does he do? What does he do?
Here's my thing, and this is just my bold prediction. I don't think John's going to let the game get too out of hand before he decides if he needs to bench Flacco. And then what happens? What we saw at the end of the Carolina game, Lamar Jackson marched down the field, straight touchdown to Hayden Hurst. If that happens,
he's not going to do it because John Harbaugh has no balls to pull his quarterback. You know, everybody in the city of Baltimore has been calling for it since y'all traded up to the 32nd overall pick. His pride is too with Flacco.
And the funny thing about it is last week we got to finally see what Lamar Jackson could do. And I'm not going to lie. I was impressed.
I was impressed, but I partially think Carolina.
But then again, who knows what defense was in for Carolina?
Carolina's probably like, all right, I mean, let him walk down. I can't judge off of that. But I did like what I saw. I'm not going to take that away from you. However, I'm letting you know. I've already told you this. It's not going to be the same game as last time. I don't give a damn who's pass rushing off the edge. We shut down Myles Garrett last week. Myles Garrett is, at this point in his career, is better than Terrell Suggs to me. By far.
Well, your opinion's your opinion. That's fine and dandy. But I just honestly don't see a catastrophic blowout. I don't even really see you guys win. There's no way the Ravens are going to lose 3 in a row. I just don't see that.
I'm going to let you live in your fantasies.
You know what? And while I'm at work watching on the CBS app, that was a weird plug. I don't know why I just did that. But I'm going to text you the whole game. I'm going to blow up your phone. You're probably going to blow up mine. There's going to be memes going back and forth. Probably going to put a sad Jordan face halfway through the game. I don't effing know.
How many times over this past month the Ravens have lost the game. Gerald's ass goes silent. Dwayne's ass, y'all all go silent. They show up 4 hours later, and then by that time,
all right. For the record, I was on my honeymoon this week.
What about the 2 games before that?
I texted you. I was there.
When? How, Sway?
I wasn't on Facebook. I texted you.
No smoke.
I texted you right after the
Ravens
game.
fans can never take smoke. They can dish it out, but as soon as they leave, they can never take any smoke.
What are you talking about, Mike?
I'm the first
What are you
one.
talking about? You go solid when the Steelers lose.
I'm the first one to show up. I get on Facebook and say, I'm here to take my L. Do I not?
I'll give you that.
And then all y'all go hide and then come out when y'all win. Y'all don't even have a press conference after y'all lose. CBS just says fucking goes to the next game. They're not going to win. They're not. Pittsburgh 31, Baltimore 27. I'm calling it right now.
Your score.
I'm going to go 21.
If you think we ain't putting more than 21 up on you.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I'm going to go 21-24 Baltimore. I think Justin Tucker's going to redeem himself and kick the game.
And I think AB's going to replicate what he did the last
game.
game.
AB's going to sit his bitch ass down. He's going to sit down. You're in my peripheral.
And I'm going to go ahead and lowball it and say 13-10 Baltimore.
Ooh, I have a little defensive battle there.
I'm going to lowball it.
So,
that's probably what's going to happen.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Because I don't think either offense is probably going to have a great game. Let's be honest here. Let's be real. Brother to brother. Let's be real. This ain't going to be an offensive game. And that's what the greatest part about this rivalry over, God, at least the last 20-some years that the Ravens have been in the NFL. This is not a good offensive game. This is mostly usually kickers and defense. And as someone who played defensive line in high school and college, defense, that's me. I love seeing it. I love seeing the hits. And you will leave a different person after it. It's probably best not to put Lamar Jackson in because he might not survive.
He's the best bet.
You might just need to keep Joe in. He's the bigger quarterback. Roethlisberger, bigger quarterback. I'm still picking Ravens. I know you're still picking Steelers because you'd be a crackhead not to.
Let me tell you something. LitTube family. If the Ravens lose, you wait and see what I bring in here on Tuesday.
You ain't bringing shit because the Ravens aren't going to lose.
This is going to be like the Chad Johnson Hall of Fame jacket, or like after he scored the touchdown.
You know how Uncle Shannon is? That ain't no problem.
Cousin Jimmy.
Anyway, as you all know, we had a tragedy in Pittsburgh over the past week with a lot of stuff that's been going on. And as a person that's from Pittsburgh, it's sad to see, and it's good to see everybody come together. Shout out to Squirrel Hill. Myself, I'm from the north side, lived in Manchester, lived up close to Northview Heights. It's tough to talk about because I've been past that area several times before. You literally have to drive past it to get into the city of Pittsburgh. It was sad but good to see everybody come together as one for that one day. I just want to send some prayers and say thank you for everybody for being civil during that time. It's been rough. I'm sending prayers to Pittsburgh. I miss you. I love you. I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, from the LitTube family, a lot of thoughts go to my head when I was actually at breakfast when it happened, and I saw it. I was like, what the hell is going on? And, we've had to say what the hell's going on too much in this country over the last few years. Like I said, there's no real cookie-cutter answer. There's no one law that's going to change anything. It's just, I think the most important thing is people just need to get their brains checked, and they just need to have love for one another at the end of the day.
Yep.
And that's one thing I love about the LitTube family. We're so diverse. We come from all walks of life. And like I said, from our family to your Pittsburgh, we're here for you.
We love you.
But the Steelers are going to lose.
Whatever.
But we love you.